You probably haven't slept in weeks. You're somewhat, maybe now, still checking your loved one's medication. You're checking if they're eating. You're checking if they've had any sleep. You're checking if they've had any fall. And right now, we both know that you feel very, very exhausted in your role and you just don't know what to do. You try seeking out for help, but everything's a bit vague. You're not too sure about the information. It seems a bit muddled up, a bit more complex. Then you speak to your loved ones or you speak to your friends and your families and they say, just call the council. But they actually never explain to you what that means. And you see you're thinking, what does the council actually do, and will they actually provide you with the support that you need? And even if you're self-funding your care, you're just thinking, because I'm paying for my loved one's care, will they even support me? And that question is somewhat of a, yeah, they should do. They are legally required to support you. And here's why. In this video, I will explain what the council is responsible for and what they're legally required to do, even if you're a self-funder, so you can stop guessing and know exactly what to do next. So hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Portia. I've been a registered nurse for over 7 years and I've had a lot of experience within home care management and NHS continuing healthcare assessments. One pattern I see over and over again is family never contacting the social care support early, but they rather contact them when it's too late. And by the time I meet them, the person at home is already unsafe. The family feels exhausted, not because they don't care, but they didn't know what support was available to them and what the council actually does. The council adult social care team is not just there to arrange for carers. Their first primary responsibility is prevention. And what do we mean by that? Prevention means helping with daily life before we meet an extreme emergency crisis. And I can say many health professionals will agree that majority of the time when we ask families to contact their council, it's not for any dramatic events or extreme safeguarding issues. It's just we see a pattern of the carers not being, supported enough to do their role. For example, medication being missed or concerns regarding with washing their loved one, dressing them. They might be struggling with their oral and nutritional intake as well, or maybe their loved one is wandering around a bit confused with them where they are. Maybe they're having episodes of hallucinations, and sometimes the carers just feel very, very drained. They don't know what to do next, or they become so overwhelmed with their emotions that they're not able to care for their loved one in the best way possible. And if you're struggling with any of those things, you can request a care needs assessment. You don't have to wait until your loved one is very, very unwell or requires an admission to the hospital. Now, here's something families are never told. You can still contact the adult social care team even if you're paying privately for your loved one's care. You might still fund your loved one's care by yourself, but the council has a right and a legal duty to provide you with information and services available to you in your local area. This could include what equipments are available in your area, what other support services that are near you, that are available to you. They have a right to provide that information to you. And I see a lot of families struggle because they simply don't know that there are services like that available to them. So then they tend to struggle with a lot of things on their own, not because they want to, but because there's not much education around this type of topic, or it's simply a bit difficult and hard to understand. And let me explain the assessment itself, because this is where I see a lot of people get a bit nervous about it. The care assessment is, many people shouldn't see it as a test. It's not a test at all. It's merely an assessment that opens the door to see how your loved one's health affects their daily life. What support do they need? Dressing support, are they struggling with medication management? And how does that look like, and how does that impact them in a negative way, in essence? And sometimes family struggle with providing their loved ones with that support. And I've noticed sometimes when you go into some people's home and you ask the client themselves how they feel the support, are they struggling? They'll be like, no, I'm fine. Not because they are fine, but because, I don't know, sometimes it is a cultural situation where I know from my African background, there's certain things you don't disclose outside to the outside public. You keep within the home, and therefore you struggle a lot internally because of that. I don't know how to explain it, the tradition or the culture of it as well. And this is where it's good, because if the assessor sees that the care that is being provided is not that great, or they're struggling with certain aspects of their care, the council has a legal duty to plan support and plan interventions to support you and support your loved one with what they need, essentially what they need, whether it's additional carers to come support you, or equipment, or accessing local services to support you as well. And now we need to talk about cost. And this is where a lot of people have a lot of anxiety in terms of the level of support they need. I think a lot of people assume that they need a lot of extra money, a lot of money to have the support, and therefore they're even scared to even contact the local council to see what support is available because they think it's expensive, essentially. This is the way to break it down for families to understand that social care is so much different to NHS care. And you have to realise some people's contribution towards the cost of care, it all depends on their finance. The council will typically do a financial assessment to essentially draw a picture of what the person can financially afford to pay for within their care. And within this assessment, they will never leave a person in a situation where they couldn't typically, outside of paying for their care, contribute to their daily living or housing or renting as well. And you have to realise that there's certain support that can be free, such as reablement services coming from the hospital. It's just about looking into your areas to see if they offer those services and how you can implement them maybe before you come out of hospital, just for that extra couple of days of support. Another major responsibility that the council has is safeguarding. If an adult is at risk of safeguarding, neglect, self-neglect or abuse, the council has a duty to protect those vulnerable people. And by doing that, they must investigate on those concerns. It's nothing to do with blaming the family, but it's more to do with how can we ensure this person or this loved one, your loved one, is safe within their environment. And I also want to speak to you as a carer. You're recognised in the law as a carer, and therefore you have a right to an assessment to see how you providing that care for your loved one affects your emotional, physical and mental well-being as well. If you're struggling with providing that support, I would definitely recommend having that care assessment, and you can typically find that online, or you can contact the local council to see how you can do an assessment. And typically with this assessment, you can typically do it online or face-to-face as well. I just want to highlight that if you are struggling with providing that care for your loved one, that you do access the services that are available to you. You have to recognise that caring for your loved one is a shared responsibility, and it's not a responsibility that should be kept to yourself or put on yourself on your own, because in those situations it can accumulate a lot of pressure on you, and I think a lot of carers can fall into the space of being depressed or having a lot of guilt and anxiety that doesn't support their mental well-being, that doesn't support their loved ones' care as well. So just a debrief about what the video is about. The local council is available if you need the additional support from them, whether you are privately funding for your loved one's care or the local authority is funding that care for you. Even if you're privately funding your care, you're allowed to access information and services available to you. And if you're worried about additional costs and things like that, there are free services available to support your loved one's care. It's good to have a good look around to see what's available to you. And just remember, the council will never provide services where they overcharge you on the cost. They typically do a financial assessment to see how much you can contribute to your loved one's care or the costing of that care. They will never leave you in a situation where you have to be in a poor financial situation because you're not able to pay for that care. So I would encourage you, there's a lot of things they can offer, including equipment, carers, or even respite care to support you and your loved one. So it's a very good service to access. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And if you like videos like this, I would recommend watching my other videos where I explain home care services, what they typically look like, what signs to look out for, and things like that as well. Thank you for watching.